Hey guys, Finesse here, and today we're going to be doing a Multiversus tier list. The game's been out for roughly 2 weeks now, so I think it's a good time to do our first tier list of the season. We haven't had any balance patches or anything like that yet, and things are definitely different from the beta, so make sure you take a look, watch through to know which characters are best. We're going to get started right away. This guy, not in the game yet, I guess coming soon. This is one of the guards featured in the trailer. So we will go ahead and slide him to the back. But Jason, to start us off, I'm going to go ahead and actually put Jason in B tier. He's got some strong attacks, and a better Jason can be quite strong. I think he's got decent mobility, tough to ring out, but he's really slow, really bulky, as you would expect for a tank, frankly. But yeah, because of that, I think he's pretty easy to exploit with faster characters. So kind of matchup dependent. And yeah, definitely not game breaking, but if he's your main, you'll be okay to play him. Banana Guard, pains me to say it, but we have our first S right off the hop. Pretty simple actually to play and get into. So if you're looking for a main, I'm sure he'll get nerfed at some point, but a really strong place to start with, especially if you're getting into the game. He knew he wasn't in the beta. They obviously kept him strong because he's a character that everyone can unlock easily. Really spammable attacks, but as you get more skilled with him, he's got some good combos, can really hold you. His vertical game is decently strong. But honestly, even for the average player, even if you're not playing him at a high level, still quite annoying, I would say. Very, very spammable character. So you can do some devious things with him, and there's a reason he's a meme and people hate seeing him in matchmaking. Next up, we got Joker. Joker, I'm going to go ahead and slot in B tier as well. I think, B tier, pretty average. He's got some strong combos. He's a mage. He's got, some decent range attacks. Definitely a vertical mage. He suffers horizontally, I would say, quite a lot. But if you're playing him in a vertical map where you can funnel them into that space, can be decently strong. But again, just kind of uninspiring. Haven't seen a lot of him as well. He's one of the newer characters. He's expensive too. I think he's 6k points to unlock actually, which is interesting. Kind of expecting to be better because of that. But yeah, pretty middling, but definitely some potential. Again, if he's your main, nothing to worry about there. Marvin, I'm actually going to go ahead, if we were to order these in tiers, I'd actually go ahead, put it probably top of B tier, I think. He can be really strong in 2s, actually, I think, especially if you're playing with another mage. He can redirect projectiles. I've got some videos up on my channel of playing him with bugs and just, dragging the safe and the rocket into the right spot. So really strong, definitely in 2s, but, pretty easy to ring out, struggles to finish KOs sometimes himself. And anyway, he's got a good kit though, pretty versatile to play, definitely annoying, and can be, when in the right hands, really disruptive. So strong character as well. I would say he's definitely better than Jason and Joker here. But again, not game breaking. You can definitely manage. Gizmo, I'm actually going to go ahead and select Gizmo and see. I've fought a couple really good, talented Gizmos, and I think he can really cause problems when in the hands of a really, really good player, but he's tough to play. You gotta kind of get into him. And yeah, just not really a ton to say. His kit isn't great, not the most comprehensive. Yeah, he's okay, but you're putting a lot more work into him to be good with him than you would be in another character. So that's what we'll say there. Black Adam, this one's tough. Could go A, could go B. I think I'm actually gonna put him up in A, our first A of the day. He's a bruiser, pretty tanky, actually, quite hard to ring out. His recovery is just absolutely off the charts and can be really tough to deal with sometimes. He's rangy too, takes up a lot of space on the map. I've been playing him a little bit recently. He's got some, basic introductory combos that can be decent. Sometimes a little bit hard to pick up, a little bit hard to learn, and tough to get ringouts with all this. So if you pair him with an assassin or someone who can really take those ringouts easy, I would say that's a strength. But he's got the power potential to do it. Can be quite disruptive to people with projectiles, or if you're trying to play a ranged mage, because he can gets you at range if you're on the ground. So yeah, really strong character overall, I think. Pretty solid pick. You do well if he's your main. Stripe, let's go. Honestly, I want to say Stripe could be A as well. I think in the right hands, he's definitely one of the stronger characters. Really, really disruptive. He's got his gun. He's got some pretty high priority attacks. Just weird to rank like that. So really tough. Easy to ring out. So it doesn't have a lot of staying power. But if you're using him like an assassin, like you should be, really dynamic, really mobile. Like I said, he can cover a lot of ground. He's got some good ring out power as well. So I think he's one of the most disruptive characters in the game. He's got quite high priority, and he's really dangerous in the hands of a solid player. Next up, we got Rick. Rick is one I actually main quite a bit, but Rick's not that great, especially since the beta. He was much stronger in the beta, I would say. He's got some decent potential, and again, at a high level, you could definitely still be quite effective with him. Better in twos, probably, just because you can get down a lot of damage if you're playing with a tank, and your partner can cover. Good ring out potential, and again, but a lot of disparity across his kit. You're relying on certain moves much more than others because they're way stronger. I would say, not always, unique character, hard to get and hold combos with him, I would say, is maybe his biggest weakness. But again, good to put damage down range, decent ring out potential and staying power, but just not what he used to be, not quite as strong. So I would probably slot him down here further in the bottom of the B tier. Morty's gonna be B as well. I'll say high B. I don't think he's quite Marvin level. If this was ones, I would have him ahead of Marvin. But if we're talking generally or twos especially, I think Marvin is definitely better. Still solid. He's got really annoying character. He's a bruiser. Can put down some decent ranged attacks with his bombs and a couple of those, but also you get up close, he spins that hammer, so really annoying character to play against. Definitely good. Again, another good character to kind of get into. I think the skill ceiling with him is a little bit lower, I would say, so that's why he's not lining up an A or S. Still can be quite strong, but not too hard to get into as well, and just pretty solid all around. LeBron as well, gonna go in B. He's got really high potential. I'm sure you've all seen clips on the internet of him just locking you in crazy combos. He's got really, really great disruption and high ring out potential, but the skill ceiling is quite high, and I'd say he's a quite tough character to get into. He's really vulnerable when you lose his ball. With his ball, again, really dynamic, great character, but really struggles when you don't have his ball. Makes it a tough character to play, and it's you have to get to quite a high level before you feel comfortable throwing his ball all around and still being able to work without it. So again, high potential. I could see him moving up as the game goes on, as the player base kind of figures him out a little bit. Iron Giant was just recently removed from the game. I'm sure he'll be back. He's going to go in A tier as well. We don't have a lot of, again, because he hasn't been in the game for a little over a week, but came out just after the beta so strong. He was decent in the beta, but definitely been buffed since then. Insane staying power. He's got the ability to equip, gray health, and just, again, ups his staying power. Tough to ring out. He's heavy. He has good priority on a lot of his moves as well, if you can get him off early enough. Sometimes it takes a second to charge and lock in, but great. I would say better in twos, but when you got someone else that's a little faster to pair with him, but just from the limited sample size we've had, there's a reason they took him out. He had some absolutely broken combos, so when he returns, I expect him to float in around that A tier, wherever they want him. Taz, Taz could be decent. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw him kind of middle of B tier here. Again, decent, but I think Probably better in twos. Actually okay in ones as well, but really suffers from his horizontal focus. Only has a couple decent, up down attacks. But in the hands of the right player, he's got good priority on a lot of moves. Just a really solid bruiser. Not too tough to get into playing at an intro level. So again, if you're looking for just getting into the game, looking for an intro character, Taz is a decent option. A fan favorite. Pretty iconic, obviously. So good ring out power. He's got a couple really dynamic moves. Not a ton of stuff in his kit, but the stuff that is in there is pretty solid. Velma's going to be our first D tier. Unfortunately, Velma at a time in the beta was, as you guys would know, exceptionally strong, but she has really fallen off, been nerfed. You see almost none. I have probably fought less Velma than any other character to this point, honestly, and there's a reason. She's really fallen off. Not good. Used to be a powerful mage, horizontal mage, but just kind of been nerfed into the ground, slow to get up her attacks, doesn't fire off a lot of damage. Definitely better in twos, basically unusable in solos right now. There's a lot of Velma mains from the beta, I'm sure, that are super disappointed to see this and are gonna do their best to keep her around, but right now she's in a tough spot. Arya, same kind of thing. She's okay, actually, but I'm honestly going to go down and put her in C, which is crazy to say because, again, she was super strong in the beta. And it's outlandish even to think that some of these other characters are ahead. But I think another one that started off really high in the beta and thus has been nerfed. She is your bread and butter assassin. She's got some really great combos. True combos can take you from 0 to 100 for sure. But high skill ceiling, tough to play. Priority's okay. Sometimes some of her sets it's great. Others it really suffers a bit. But yeah, really been nerfed since the beta, so struggling with that. I'm actually going to go ahead and slide Iron Giant over. I think he's a little bit stronger than these two as well. Batman, super solid. I'd say actually Batman would probably live in a decent, upper level of the game, super viable, I would say. The Batarang and the ability to stack weakness procs still really strong, quite disruptive with the bombs as well. Can prevent yourself from getting locked into combos. The epitome of a vertical bruiser. Can really run you up. You got to be careful. You're trying to play the top of a map with a Batman. He can ring you out like nothing. Dynamic, rangy, fast. Not too much to say. Pretty standard character. Again, not too tough if you're looking for something to get into. And a really, really solid pick. Bugs is actually going to be our other S tier, or our second S tier rather. I don't think I'd have him above Banana Guard right now. I think Banana Guard, just being a new character, they've buffed him so much. But Bugs, still such an option. You remember there were Bugs Demons from the beta, of course, but he's a pretty solid option still. He's been nerfed a lit, but still very serviceable. They nerfed him well, I would say, to keep him relevant. Didn't nerf him into oblivion like they did with, say, Arya or Velma or a couple of the other characters. But he's actually one of the strongest for sure, but I think he's in an okay spot. His priority is not quite what he used to be. Has some of the most iconic combos in the game, with the down bat and the spin. But not too much to say. Again, high skill ceiling for sure, but not too hard to get into and learn his basic combos. So there's a reason you'll be queuing matchmaking and see tons of Bugs out there. Great in twos as well because he's got the safe. Like I mentioned, great with Marvin. You can really fill up a map with the projectiles. So solid option there, but probably one of the most versatile characters in the game for sure. Dynamic, great for ones. S tier pick for sure. Finn, I don't think Finn quite makes it into S. I'll say he's top of A though, honestly. I think he'd be even ahead of Iron Giant. He's so rangy. He's really surprisingly rangy, I would say, with the sword. He's got a lot of yeah, ability to get ahead of you. So fast, one of the fastest in the game. So a lot of great priority. Mobile, very mobile. Ability to dodge around, easy to ring out as an assassin class would suggest. But if you can really move with him, learn his combos. He's got one of the best true combos in the game. The ability to really lock a guy in. Super solid, great ring out potential. Fast. He's not too tough to learn at a low level, but I think there's a high skill ceiling as well. A good Finn, knows some pretty niche combos, tough to master, and but pays off. Very, very strong character. Garnet, I'm gonna have her in probably B as well. Actually, she's okay. Definitely nothing special. Kind of annoying to face a lot of times because of her armor. She's a bruiser. Actually feels like a tank sometimes. Again, a lot of armored attacks, so could be again kind of a pain to face. But pretty well-rounded kit, respectable. You'll see some on ladder. She's not running around everywhere, but again, not too crazy to get into. Kind of a unique character, I'd say. Just some of what she's got available in her kit. Really healthy place in the game, I'd say. One of my least favorite characters to run into. Definitely want the armor breaking perk on if you're going to against something like her. But yeah, pretty solid for sure. Harley, this was tough. Again, kind of a very similar situation to Finn, where I think I would honestly have her living in bottom of S. I think she's definitely good enough to be in that S conversation if there are you feel 3 characters in S right now. Just again, absolute specimen of a vertical character. I think she's an assassin. Some of the best vertical combos in the game, can really lock you in, can ring you out from quite low ranges. So just got to be super careful with her up top. She's fast, dodgy, easy enough to ring out, but tough to get your hands on her sometimes. So one of the strongest characters as well. Not too hard to get into, but high skill ceiling for sure. And I think one of the strongest spots in the game. She was good in the beta too, but one of the strongest places she's been in for sure. Jake's a pretty standard middle of the pack B, I would say. Honestly, I might have him above Jason, LeBron. I think LeBron's got more potential, but Jake is easier to get into. Like a lot of the lower level Jakes you'll see spamming kind of the same moves, running the same elements of his kit. Until you get to a certain skill level, I would say he's tough to overcome some of his moves. But once you learn how to play around him, if you know your own character well and how to kind of outpace a Jake, I think he's not too tough to handle. But good intro character, pretty well-rounded kit, very serviceable for sure, I would say. Raindog's going to be down in D as well. I think he's better than Velma, but one of the weaker characters in the game. Ones, he's quite challenging. He can definitely better at 2s. He can really rack up a good amount of damage, but not a ton of ring out potential, not a ton of staying power either. So you're really relying on your teammate to be kind of dealing more of those KOs, finishing things off, creating space for you, I would say. So not exceptional in ones. He was in an okay place actually in the beta, I thought. But it seems to come off not quite as strong as it used to be. So yeah, not exceptionally strong for sure. Shaggy's A for sure. I would say honestly, I think he's better than Stripe. I think Batman probably better than Stripe as well. He's in a good spot. Might be probably better than Black Adam too. Super excellent ring out potential, especially if you get the space to charge his attacks or things like that. Definitely one of the stronger characters, not always super easy to ring out. Diverse kit, he's got a couple solid combos that are kind of tough to run, but an easy enough character to get into, to learn the basics of the game, how he plays. But like I said, if you can you're running him in 2s with someone who can really create the space for you to charge lots, insane ring up potential. It could stack weekend, things like that. So super solid for sure. Steven's gonna be B. You know, decent enough. I would say, you know, higher up in B probably than not. I think he's a tank mage. He's one of the only characters in the game, actually, I think, with more than one class attributed to him. I would say he's more of a tank than a mage, but you know, some good range attacks. The shield is solid, obviously. Pretty well-rounded kit. High skill ceiling, I would say. You know, not my go-to pick if I was getting into the game. But you know, serviceable if you're still learning. High level Stevens are tough to deal with. Sometimes you definitely got to play them a certain way. Once you figure them out, you know, a little easier to overcome. So pretty well rounded, healthy spot, I think, for Steven right now. You'll find a couple of Steven mains on the ladder that are cracked, but you got to put a lot of hours into them if you want to be in that spot. Superman, I think Superman, I would say I'm gonna actually put him top of B. Could be A. I could see, you know, definitely arguments for A. Pretty well-rounded tank, one of the toughest characters in the game to knock out. So really solid in that regard. He's got a couple attacks you see fit as him spamming punches. He can really lock you into long combos like that. Again, a lot of mobility with him. He's slow, but still mobile, and then he can really get across the map, can cover a lot of ground. The ability to stack ice is unique as well. I think definitely helps add to his kit. So yeah, super solid. One of the better middle of the pack characters for sure, I would say. Pretty solid. Tom and Jerry, you know, this might be crazy. I'm actually gonna have Tom and Jerry down in C. He could be B as well, but I think after, you know, he was really quite powerful in the beta, and I think he's kind of fallen off a lot since then. Top is C easily. I would probably have C like this if I was to organize it, but and he could be C B. I could see arguments for him in both. Might have even should have broken this up a little more, had an F tier or something, but yeah, solid. Much better in twos when you can, again, have a tank or somebody, a bruiser to create space for him. This could be pretty disruptive for sure. Still playable, I would say. I think, honestly, the spread in a lot of these is not too bad, so definitely still playable. Fine if he's your main. You're probably a demon back in the beta as well. But Fall from Grace from the beta as well. He's definitely been nerfed, so tough. And then Wonder Woman. I'll have Wonder Woman probably top of A. I don't think that I can quite put her S. I don't think she's as strong. She doesn't have quite as dynamic of a kit as these three do, I would say. But one of the most solid characters in the game. Just abuses the armor system, to be honest. So really tough to knock off. That you almost have to run the armor breaking perk to deal with her in a game. Great to pair with, you know, someone else who needs a little bit more space. Hard to ring out. Good ring out potential herself. Pretty standard, and I think definitely nothing crazy if you're looking for something to get into. One of the better options you have. But yeah, really solid. Super annoying because of the armor, and in a good place, I guess. I would like to see armor nerfed a little bit, but she's strong right now for sure. So there you have it. This is going to be our tier list. Again, we're 2 weeks out of the beta, or 2 weeks into the full game launch. A lot of changes from the beta where we saw. I'm sure we'll get our first balance patch in the next few weeks here. I could see characters like Banana Guard getting nerfed, possibly some buffs as well. But I think, honestly, the metagame's in a reasonably healthy place outside of Banana Guard, I would say. Bugs and Harley are okay. But yeah, any of these characters, for the most part, probably with the exception of these two, I would say are viable options. You know, you get them to a high skill set, especially in pubs, they're all right. The pros, you'll see definitely, you know, running combos of kind of our top half here, but some reasonable options for the rest of them. So I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let me know. Again, I played a lot of beta, playing a lot of this game right now, so I think pretty solid list, but I'm sure other people are going to have different opinions. So let me know what you think of the tier list down low. Who'd you have higher, who'd you have lower, and who are you maining right now? And with that, stay tuned for another video, and yeah, thanks for watching.